I understood that fear, maybe better than anyone. I knew the pain of profound loss. My actions, especially at the hospital, well, they were born from my own desperate need not to be alone. I saw in you, Ellie, a chance to reclaim something I'd lost. But my choice, a choice made out of love, it set you on a difficult path. It tied your future to a lie that protected you from one truth but exposed you to others. My decision to save you, to damn humanity, it echoed through your life. It became a cornerstone of your identity, even before you knew the whole story. My influence is undeniable. I taught you to survive. I taught you to fight. I showed you loyalty, fierce and uncompromising. But I also showed you that sometimes the world demands brutal choices. My actions, meant to protect, they ended up fueling a darkness in you. When I was taken from you, that darkness found its focus. Your fear of being alone twisted into a burning need for revenge. My death wasn't just another loss, it was the ultimate betrayal of your fragile sense of security. It ripped open all your old wounds and left you exposed.
My world is built on loss. I've seen too many people leave. Friends, family, mentors, they vanish, they die. This constant disappearance has carved a deep fear into my heart. It's the fear of being utterly alone. That terror, it's like a quiet hum beneath everything I do. It's a shadow that follows me every step. I cling to people fiercely. I need connection. I need to know I'm not the last one standing. This fear drives me. It pushes me towards others, but it also makes me vulnerable. It makes me desperate. This fear of abandonment shapes my choices. It influences my reactions. When I feel threatened, my first instinct is to protect what I have, to fight for the people close to me. I just can't bear the thought of losing someone else. This fear makes me brave. It also makes me reckless at times. I'll run into danger if it means keeping someone safe, or if it means avenging someone I've lost. The thought of being left alone again is a wound that never quite heals. It festers. It reminds me of all the pain I've endured. The truth hung heavy in the air between us. Dina loved me, but this new knowledge tainted everything. It explained so much about my relentless drive for revenge. It explained the darkness that seemed to cling to me. But it also made my quest seem more terrifying, more self-destructive. Dina wanted a future. She wanted safety for her child. I seemed consumed by the past, consumed by a need to balance scales that could never truly be balanced. The honesty, while necessary, did not heal. It exposed the cracks in our foundation. This stark contrast between what Dina wanted and what I pursued became more apparent. Dina's pregnancy brought a new perspective, a need for peace, a need for stability. My path, though, led further into violence and chaos. The truth about Joel, once revealed, only seemed to solidify my resolve to see my revenge through. It was as if acknowledging the enormity of Joel's actions and the subsequent loss meant I had to honor his memory by destroying those who took him. This divergence in our desires put an immense strain on our love.
I listened. My face must have changed. The revelation was a shock. It felt like a betrayal, not by you, Ellie, but by the man you loved like a father. Joel's actions, seen through this new lens, were horrifying. They were selfish. They condemned the world. And for me, carrying a child, this truth was a terrifying prospect. It meant our future, our child's future, was built on a monumental crime. The bond between us, once so strong, began to fray. Trust, once so easy, became difficult. Your confession created a chasm, a distance that words struggled to bridge.
I carried Joel's secret for a long time. It was a heavy burden, a truth I knew would change everything. When I finally told Dina, it was a moment of raw honesty. I confessed what Joel did. I explained why the fireflies were hunting us, why so many people had died. I needed Dina to understand. I needed to share this immense weight. I hoped for understanding. I hoped for acceptance. But, some truths are just too big. Some truths shatter the world you thought you knew. This was one of them. This divergence highlighted how far I had strayed from my own moral compass. My desire for revenge was so strong it began to overshadow my humanity. I was willing to make choices that, in another time, I might have condemned.
Ellie's reaction to the tortured boy was telling. Her past experiences, her own near-death encounters, and the brutal loss of Joel made her see the world in absolutes. Us versus them. There was little room for nuance, little room for mercy when it came to her enemies. My instinct was to save. Ellie's was to use.
But I saw something else. I saw myself. I saw the cruelty I had faced, the cruelty Joel had faced. For me, the boy was a symbol, a reminder of the enemy's brutality. I didn't see a victim needing aid. I saw an opportunity for information. A way to get closer to Abby. My empathy was there, buried deep, but it was warped by my trauma.
There was a moment, a clear, sharp disagreement. We found a boy, tortured, left for dead. I wanted to help, to get him back to safety, to show compassion.
I, on the other hand, was becoming increasingly single-minded. My pain was a lens through which I saw the world. Everything became secondary to my quest for Abby.
I was different. I was a rock, steady, loyal. I understood loss. I understood anger. But my focus was always on community, on family, on building something that would last. I tried to be a leader, not by aggression, but by example. I cared deeply for my friends, for Ellie, for Dina. I saw the toll revenge was taking on Ellie. I saw her becoming someone else, someone harder, colder. I tried to be a voice of reason, a reminder of what we were fighting for, not just against. My maturity was a stark contrast to Ellie's consuming rage. I had my own grief, my own reasons to fight, but I never lost sight of the bigger picture. I knew that survival was about more than just killing your enemies. It was about protecting your people. It was about ensuring there was a future. I prioritized the group. I prioritized the needs of Jackson.
The weight of her actions became almost unbearable. She began to question everything. Who was she now? What was left of the girl Joel had tried so hard to protect? The answers were terrifying.
She saw the devastation she had wrought. She saw how her single-mindedness had blinded her to the needs of those she loved.
The violence rippled outwards, creating more pain, more suffering. It was a cycle that seemed to have no end. Each act of revenge only sowed the seeds for more. There was a breaking point, a confrontation so brutal, so visceral, it shook Ellie to her core. After a savage fight, she was left broken, battered. But it wasn't just the physical pain. It was the realization of what she had become, the monster in the mirror. She had wanted to make Abby suffer, but in doing so, she had inflicted immeasurable suffering on herself and others. The image of her actions, the faces of those she had hurt, haunted her. The victory, if it could even be called that, felt hollow, empty. This moment forced Ellie to confront the true cost of her quest. The revenge she had sought so desperately did not bring solace. It did not bring Joel back. It only brought more death, more despair.
The collateral damage was horrifying. Innocent people were caught in the crossfire, friends were lost, relationships were shattered.
She convinced herself that this was the only way to find peace, the only way to honor Joel. But in her relentless hunt, she became the very thing she hated. A person who inflicted pain, a person who destroyed lives. The cost of her violence was immense, not just to her enemies, but to herself. Each life she took chipped away at her soul. Each brutal act left a new scar. These were not just physical wounds, they were deeper. They were internal. She lost innocence. She lost pieces of herself.
I pleaded with her to stay, to choose a life with me. But the thirst for vengeance was just too strong. It was like a poison in her veins.
Ellie's pursuit of Abby became an obsession. It consumed her every thought, every action. She left people behind, not just physically, but emotionally. Even acts that seemed like forgiveness or moments of self-sacrifice struggled to break the cycle. Abby let Ellie live, twice, a choice that cost her everything, a choice that should have ended the hatred. Yet, Ellie still pursued her, driven by nightmares, driven by a phantom pain that wouldn't cease. When Ellie finally found Abby, a shell of her former self, she still fought. She almost drowned her. The need for that final, definitive act of vengeance was overwhelming. It was a compulsion, a sickness. Ellie's decision to let Abby go at the very end was not a moment of clear triumph. It was a moment of exhaustion, a moment of profound loss. She lost her fingers. She lost her ability to play the guitar, her last tangible connection to Joel. She returned to an empty farmhouse. Dina was gone. JJ was gone. She was finally truly alone. The very thing she had always feared. Her revenge had cost her everything she held dear. It did not bring peace. It did not heal her wounds. It only amplified her solitude. The question lingers. Can the cycle of revenge ever truly end? Or does it simply transform those caught within it? Ellie was changed. Abby was changed. Everyone touched by their conflict was scarred. The violence left an indelible mark. It reshaped their identities. It redefined their futures. The desire for retribution is a powerful human emotion, but its pursuit often leads to a desolate landscape, a place where everyone loses, where the distinctions between hero and villain blur into shades of gray. Perhaps the cycle doesn't end with a grand gesture. Perhaps it ends quietly, In the decision to walk away, in the acceptance of loss, in the slow, painful process of rebuilding. But even then, the ghosts of the past remain. The memories linger. The scars serve as a constant reminder. The world of The Last of Us is a testament to the enduring nature of violence, and it forces us to ask if anyone can truly escape its orbit once they are pulled in. Or are they forever lost, chasing echoes in the ruins?